If you're listening to this on the release date, June 10th, stick around to the end of the podcast to find out why this is a funny anniversary.
This podcast episode includes themes of depression and suicide. If you or anyone you know struggles with mental health and thoughts of suicide, please seek help or dial 988 for the National Suicide Hotline.
Like, when I got beyond being a teenager and out of the military, like, I hated y'all. I didn't want to be around teenagers, but you guys literally saved my life.
All right, I'm going to begin at the beginning.
It's a good place to start.
I know, right? Okay. Welcome to the Life on Shuffle podcast, a collection of stories about people who have taken chances, embraced the unexpected, and inadvertently discovered their true passion. Today, we are featuring Shannon Tolbert, a coach from Lenoir, North Carolina. In addition to Shannon, we also have Adriana, Hayden, Dalton, Noah, and Cooper. Shannon was born in Lenoir and is currently coaching an 18U travel softball team. He has recently gone back to school to further his education and pursue a degree in psychology. Welcome to the show, Shannon.
Hi.
So, let's begin. Where are you right now in your career?
In my career, I don't have one. I'm in a job. There's a big difference.
Okay, so
Yeah.
What's that look like for you?
It looks like I deal with a bunch of people I don't like every day. Yeah. So I'm a service manager at a tractor dealership, basically. So I keep the shop running, make sure everything's taken care of there, and I handle all the customers. That's the hard part. So I like to make people happy, and it's a hard job to do in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So kind of, what made you decide to go back to school?
That. Like being a coach and everything, I really got to understand what drives me and what I like to do. And I found a passion in helping you guys with the mental game, and that sort of drove me in that direction. So I could do that better, and maybe get paid for it. So that's the idea.
Okay. So tell us, kind of going back to the beginning, what was your childhood like? Where did, you kind of start off?
Yeah, it was rocky as a kid. Like, it was fairly normal, I guess you'd say, but it was an abusive home. It wasn't like everyday kind of thing, but if we messed up, like, we knew we messed up, and then my dad was kind of moved out of the house for quite some time, so it was up to my mom, and she worked in a hosiery mill. She was making minimum wage, and Shannon had to kind of go to work to take care of herself. But other than that, it was normal. Like, I rode a skateboard in the neighborhood. We could go out and play, and it was not like today. We could go out and do things and come home at dark. But yeah, there were some challenges growing up. But on the other side of that, there was some normality to it too.
Okay. So looking back at that, how do you think your environment and like your situation, how do you think that influenced your identity?
I don't know that it did. I'm not really one to look back. So I know my mom, she's a lot like me. So she has a mentality of service. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she just liked to make peace. And I guess I kind of picked that up from her, but I guess there's some things that I could look back on and be like, yeah, I want to make sure I'm not that kind of parent or something like that, but to think that it shaped me, I don't know that it did so much.
Okay.
Like my sister, she took a completely different direction, but and we were raised the same, you know what I mean? So I think it was more of my internal resilience and my internal, my genetics. I think that kind of drove where I'm at more than anything.
All right. So going off of that, you don't really say that kind of shaped you. So I know that you joined the Air Force. Do you think anything that you dealt with in your childhood had to do with that? Like, what kind of drove you to want to join the Air Force and do all that?
So I came from a military family. My dad was Army and Navy. He was a SEAL, Special Forces. And my grandpa, he was in the Navy. And I wanted to be in the military too. So he was going all through high school. I was ROTC, did the things, in ROTC. And when I got out, I didn't go in straight away. I worked a job for a couple years. I was married pretty much out of high school, and then she got pregnant. I'm like, okay, it's time to do something different because this is going to get expensive fast. So I went to the military behind her getting pregnant. And but yeah, the driving force was being from a military family. I just wanted to keep it going. You know, it looks like it stops with me, but you know, at least I did my part. And you know, that's another part of it. I wanted to do my part. I didn't want to. I don't know. I didn't want to be Army or a big special forces dude. I just wanted to do my part. You know, so I'd say that's what drove me to it.
All right. Well, what was your service like?
It was fun. I loved it. I was a crew chief on F-16s. You know, through training and everything. It's the normal stories you hear about basic training, whatever. That wasn't that big a deal. But when I got into my tech school, that's when my daughter was born. We wasn't expecting it that early. So she was born in April. She wasn't expected until August. So I had to go through my training while she was a couple hours away in the hospital and try to manage all that. So, and I'm a 20-year-old dude with a newborn learning how to work on this $50 million airplane with a kid laying in the hospital, you know. I made it through that. Now, if we think about things that shaped me, that did. So that was a big event in life, but there was a lot to deal with at one time. But beyond that, when everything sort of calmed down, she came home, life was great, you know, working on airplanes every day and living on base. I mean, it was the life to live. It was great. I loved it.
So going back, why are you not in the military anymore? Like, what changed?
So the whole deal with her being born early is the biggest reason. She had a lot of problems early on. So she had several surgeries on her intestines, things like that. So she needed a lot more attention than what we could give her 2,000 miles from home. So, you know, she moved home with the kid, and in that time I was kind of working on a hardship discharge, which is not easy to get. So then my dad, he got sick too. Then he's been sick forever. Anyway, he got sick, so I needed to be home with my family and all that, you know. So worked on the hardship, and that's the reason I'm not there today, or retired by now.
After you left the military and got out, what did your life look like for a while? What did you do? What did you go back to work for?
So when I got out, I was just I just went back to the job I had before I went in. I was working on, I don't know if you know what this is, but it's a big machine that breaks rocks. So I worked on those. I worked on the hydraulic system on those. So I went back to doing that for a little while, just to kind of get my feet back in North Carolina, you know. And then I ended up getting the job at a tractor dealership where I started to learn how to work on them. And that kind of accelerated me into what I'm doing now. So I started off in the shop kind of thing and worked my way up.
So with you working on like tractors, what's your favorite thing to work on, like, and the easiest thing to repair and fix?
The easiest thing?
Yeah.
The bigger the tractor, the better. Because it makes things easier to get to. Lawnmowers and stuff are so tiny and compact that it's a pain because you're sitting down, you're bent over the whole time. But like on a bigger tractor, we have really big tools, so you can support those big things. It's not as heavy as you'd think, but I liked working on big stuff. Yeah, but now I don't have to. So I'm kind of sitting in the office, but that was my favorite thing to do, was working on like a 200 horsepower tractor. That was fun.
So we know you got into coach. What originally drew you to coaching, and what inspired you to continue pursuing it even after your stepdaughter stopped playing?
Okay, so I wasn't really drawn to it at first. So my stepdaughter at the time, she wanted to play softball. So like I was like, all right, cool, we're gonna get you in a rec league, because she was still of age to play in rec ball. So that's what we did. Got her into that. The team was not really, they weren't playing games or anything. So, but the coach was coaching by himself, and I just asked him, I was like, man, you need some help? Like, you're doing this on your own. I'll come out and help you. He's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So I went out on the field and started helping him, and it just kind of took off. He didn't tell me to quit, so I didn't. and then she ended up quitting softball, and I'd made a commitment at this point. I'd already been a part of the family with the other coach and everything, so I just kept doing it, and from there it turned into something completely different and something I didn't expect. But that's how it started. I just kind of fell into it.
So I obviously, you're my coach,
Yeah.
but just tell me more about the coaching for you. Like, I know that's definitely a big part of your life now, especially. So just what has it been like for you, and how has that changed you, and how have, you changed us?
Yeah, so before I started coaching, I was just kind of going through the motions of life. Like, I was bouncing from hobby to hobby, trying to find something that filled the space between work and sleep, and I didn't really find one that worked. So, but most of those hobbies were for me, like mountain biking, the skydiving thing, it was for me. It wasn't for anybody else. So when I started coaching, that became my hobby, because for one, I don't have time for another one. But, you start seeing an impact being made, right? And then somebody tells you you're making an impact. And then people start like asking you for advice, like life advice beyond the field and all that. That's what makes it stick, and that's what makes it worth it. So I think being able to find a hobby that helped other people besides me was the biggest thing that kept me there, and seeing you guys grow from it too. So I'm sure there's somebody out there that could do it better, but not right now.
Yeah, for sure. Did you ever think that, oh, I'm gonna be a softball coach, I'm gonna be a big part of this team? Right? What kind of surprised with that?
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I never thought I'd do anything with teenagers. Like, when I got beyond being a teenager and out of the military, like, I hated y'all. I didn't want to be around teenagers, but you guys literally saved my life. Like, I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming. So thank you all.
Guy who could be a part of it.
Yeah.
Kind of going past that, if that's okay.
Mm.
So when now you're going back to school, what's been your experience with that?
It's not bad. I mean, I'm doing online school, so it's super easy so far. I mean, 4.0 grades are great. I don't have any real issues with it. I don't have to talk to other people. It's great. I love it. So, I'm going to pursue the associates here, and then transfer it to, I want to transfer and get the bachelor's degree and maybe even a master's. But yeah, so far it's been fun. I like it. I like school.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
After school, where do you hope to see yourself in your future career?
I don't know if I'll be coaching 10 years from now or not, but I know I do want to work on the mental side of sports to some degree, right? So, a sports performance, sports mental performance coach, something like that. I could see myself doing, maybe even just do therapy in general, but I do want to concentrate in the sports field because, I found a passion there. But yeah, that's kind of my direction. I don't want to continue working a job. I want to do I want a career that pays me back in more ways than just with money. Does that make sense? Money's not my driver. It's not my driving force. So,
could you ever see yourself? Could you see this, either softball or your career ever taking you outside of Lenoir, or is this kind of where you want to stay?
I can't wait to leave Lenoir.
Yep.
Yeah.
Valid.
The quicker it can get me out of here, the better. Yeah. I'm here because my dad's still alive and he needs me. That's why I'm here. So, I don't have anything else keeping me here. You guys did for a little while, but Dad was still alive, so let's blame it on him.
Where are you thinking about going? Once you leave, what's your
I
plan?
don't know. Like I said, in the military, I lived in Texas and Arizona. I loved Arizona a lot. I would go back in a heartbeat. But I like the beach too, and Arizona doesn't have one, so I'm not real sure. Wherever where the wind blows me, I guess. But as long as it's not here, I just get tired of it, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
It's not.
but yeah, Phoenix was great. I did love that area, so I could see myself going back there for sure.
So early on, you were talking about how you didn't like the customer service side of working at the tractor dealership.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just alluded to it when you're talking about online school, like you didn't have to like be in a public kind of place or whatever. So, you know, that was a personality trait that I think speaks about you
Sure.
a lot. But now you're pursuing a field in psychology,
Sure.
which is like a field that is only dealing with
right.
people.
I know.
So, like, connect those two dots there, like the two aspects that seem to be completely different, and then,
Yeah.
you know, where you're heading now.
They are completely different. And, you know, I never saw myself wanting to pursue something that dealt with people. That makes, I see what you're saying. But the service side of it, being able to help somebody, you know, they come to me looking, hey, I'm in this position, I need help with this, and then be able to make a difference for somebody, that's the difference. So in the jobs I've had in the past that are customer service related, or not really service at all, you know, it's just trying my best to make sure they get something for their money. And, you know, it's not so much about the people, it's about what I'm doing for them right now, which is nothing, you know, but I like to be able to help people.
Yeah, like not fix their lawnmower.
Right.
Like
fix their life.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to helping people, talking about teenagers and stuff. I know you said you not used to hate us. But as far as your psychology and helping people, do you find yourself drawn more to helping teenagers, or do you just want to make a difference in anybody's life? Like, where are you kind of at that with that? Who would you prefer to work with?
Teenagers. I've dealt with you guys. I deal with your parents all the time. And, you know, I have parents reach out to me as well, you know, but not saying they have their life figured out. They don't.
Yeah.
But you guys are my passion, I guess, you know, because you're not I guess you are in a vulnerable spot in your life, you know, and any direction you can get from anybody's helpful. So it's nice to be that person. Like I said, I never, ever saw myself working with teenagers, but I would rather work with you guys now than your parents. So, yeah, I found the passion in something I thought I hated. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I've already kind of covered this, but just like you've dealt with a lot, obviously. And how have you caught yourself overcoming everything you dealt with? I mean,
I didn't do it by myself. You know just as much as anybody, and I'm going to share this. I don't know. It's touchy, but I'm going to share it. You know, there was a time in life just a few years ago where I was done with life. Like, I didn't want to do this anymore. And I had a plan. I knew what I was going to do. I was going to take care of it. We had one tournament left, and I wanted to go to that tournament. And I said, when this tournament's over, I'm going home, and nobody's going to see me again. Well, during that tournament, one kid in specifically came to me, and she's like, because I was sitting at the table by myself, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just hanging out, you know. She's like, you want some company? I'm like, not really. She's like, that's not going to work for me. So she went to the bathroom. She come back. She sat down, and she just started talking, you know, about whatever, about life. And then she's like, I really appreciate what you're doing. She's like, you're my favorite coach, this, that, and other. And I'm like, okay, so maybe I am doing a little something. But as conversation continued, I was like, man, this is something. I'm doing something good here, you know. And then you know, you're a part of that too. You were part of that conversation later on in the day, and that's when my life took a huge change. And I mean, it saved my life. They saved me from me. So there's yeah, I've been through a lot. Yeah. Thank y'all for the help. I couldn't do it by myself.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I'm trying to connect all the bits of the timeline, and then connect the last little bit of the story there,
Mhm.
right? And you know, I also work with teenagers all the time, and
Sure.
I prefer to be in a room full of teenagers rather than a room full of adults. Um, my reasoning is like, you know, a different outlook on life, and for a lot of them, maybe life hasn't happened yet, and you get to like, share and guide and do all of that. Like, what are your reasons for coaching, and then like, why is it not 8U and why is it 18U ball? And then maybe is there a connection between that and like your pursuit of a degree in psychology now?
Yeah. As far as the pursuit goes, yes, that's 90% of the reason I decided to pursue a psychology degree. But yeah, teenagers. I'm not really good with little kids. Like I want to be able to talk to them like adults.
Yeah.
But similar to you, I like the fact that they're in this place in life that they have 1,000 directions they can go, and you get to be one of those people that helps guide them. And 30 years from now, they can look back and be like, "Hey, I remember that dude.
Yeah.
He was my favorite coach or my favorite teacher or whatever." I don't know. I think the sense of gratitude that teenagers have, maybe not now, but 10, 20 years from now, is greater than what an adult like me or you would have. And the impact is greater. So, because we can make a bigger impact on their lives. And that's a hard line to walk, because you want to be able to guide them in the right direction. So, you definitely don't want to be the person to give them bad advice, but you want to be there for them too. So, I don't know. I like being able to help them get somewhere and do better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there was something that you wanted to add, I was thinking about this the other week, just with the whole podcast and everything in the direction that it's going to go. I like to hear people's stories in general, but also like just hear stories. So if you had like I don't know, something interesting, a funny story, an interesting story, something from way back when you were in the military to coaching or anything.
Oh, let's talk about this one. Breaking my face.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can't
leave that
out. Guys,
I'll let you talk first, then I'll fill in the blank.
There you go. Do that.
alright, so we were at practice probably like a couple years ago, and we had someone pitching. We were doing live pitching and hitting, so I was hitting, and he was
June
behind the
10th,
plate.
2024.
You remember the day? We have lots of
We have
pictures.
anniversaries. Yeah.
Oh yes, we do. Every year. And I fouled the ball off right into his face. And he was catching, so obviously he's right up in there, and it came off the bat pretty hot. Broke his nose. He actually can't smell anymore. So I like to make jokes about getting him candles and stuff, or ask him how things smell, and he'll just like look at me and just look at me.
Yeah.
Just tell me to shut up.
So part of it's my fault. I was catching without a mask, and yeah, that's the worst pain I've ever been in. But shoot me right between the eyes, broke my nose. My glasses survived.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, broke my orbital bone. Had a concussion. Went to the hospital. I was there for 5 hours, bleeding and puking in the floor, and they wouldn't see me. And it's like I said, it was the worst pain I'd ever been in.
Yeah, the
And,
hospital sucked.
Oh, it was terrible. And I left that hospital, went to another one. They didn't even set me down. They took me right back, gave me some pain meds. I'm like, thank God, this is all I wanted. Just something to feel better. I'm like, I don't care what happens to my face. I just want to feel better. But I ended up having surgery on it a month later, and I can't smell anymore. But yeah, we it's
This
a
is
topic of conversation weekly, I guess.
Yeah, because it's a reoccurring thing. He gets hit almost every time.
Somewhere.
Something
Yeah.
somewhere by
Yeah.
me. Another thing I do want to and I can say about Shannon is no matter what, he is so reliable. He's always there for you. I got into a car wreck and he was the first one on the scene. Beat the cops, beat everybody. He's genuinely always there for everybody. They too.
You're welcome.
You're so awesome. Got any other funny stories?
We'll leave the rest out.
Mine trumps it all.
yeah, your face got broken and you still went back to coaching. I think that says a lot.
I was coaching. I was back out a week after it happened with 2 black eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there anything we didn't hit that you want to add, or?
No, I mean, I'm cool if you're cool.
Okay. So overall, what piece of life advice do you think you could give to young people?
Yeah, so I mean, it's your life, right? It doesn't belong to your parents, doesn't belong to your teachers, it doesn't belong to your coaches or your friends. It's your life. Do what you want to do and find somebody to help along the way. But you never know what kind of act of kindness that you could do for somebody that would maybe even save their life. So pursue what you want to do and do it your way.
What kind of, why did you decide to join us today? What kind of compelled you to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go on this?
Because you called and I don't know how to say no to you.
Awesome,
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're glad we got to hear your story. Today's episode was recorded on April 20th, 2026. This episode was produced by Hayden Shoemake, me, and it was hosted by Adriana Figueroa, Dalton Pelfrey, and Noah Waters.
Heck yeah, boy. Mic drop.